Hello, it is Justin Minot here from Provident 1898. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Frank Pollock, an incredible Durham human doing big work, big things. The formal bio, Frank is the CMO of Home Lending Pal. For more than 20 years, he has worked at the intersection of marketing, innovation, and technology. He's one of our venture coaches here at Provident 1898. Frank, so good to have you. Let's mask off.
Pleasure to be here.
So let's talk about your entrepreneurial journey. How did you get to where you are now? Give some of the highlights of that.
I'm actually a third generation entrepreneur. So my family's from New Bern, North Carolina on my dad's side. And my grandfather started a grocery store, had several rental apartments, all of the businesses of that era, and segregated New Bern.
Wow.
And so my father continued that tradition, and then I left corporate America to start my own consultancy about 2006. And so took a little time off to run the MBA program at North Carolina Central and then went back to consulting. Along the way, I've tried a couple of startups, but Home Lending Pal is the current venture, and I'm the chief marketing officer, and we have a goal of getting 1 million people into homes over the course of the next few years.
Wow. Tell me more about that work. What is Home Lending Pal? Give me more about the vision of that.
Yeah, so Home Lending Pal, we won the NCIDS seed grant back in the spring, the 50,000. Thank you. And so it's really, it's a marketplace that is consumer centric, where you as a potential borrower can actually understand where you fit in the marketplace. So lenders lead with transparency. Their guidelines are a part of the marketplace, but you as a consumer can see your Equifax credit score, your PLAID verifiable income, and assets that will be used during the underwriting process.
Right.
You're able to shop for a home, and then our artificial intelligence models will predict the rate that you could get, the length of time to close, as well as how likely you are to get approved depending upon the price range. When you're ready,
Wow.
not when a lead is sold, but when you are ready, you get introduced to a lender that matches your financial situation. Unlike other platforms that you put your information in and you get 12 phone calls within the next hour, that's not what we're doing. That's a lender-centric platform.
Correct.
We want to have a consumer-centric platform that gives you the education, the power, and the confidence to walk into the largest financial transaction of your life. I mean,
That's brilliant.
well, think of it this way. In the largest financial transaction of your life, you've got the least insight and understanding.
Well, and you really are flipping the script. You're turning this thing on its head and putting the consumer, the client, in the driver's seat so that they can actually do this. Every single experience that I've ever heard of, this is completely innovative to me, because every other experience is, you put your information in, they tell you whether or not they like you, essentially, but you're giving people the information that almost the underwriter would see, right? What their picture actually looks like.
It's not exactly what the underwriter would see, but it's the core of the information that they would use. Underwriters will start obviously with credit scores and verifying the income that you have to pay the loan, the assets that you could potentially use to pay the loan. But then they're going to look at things like W-2 and current pay stubs. You might be self-employed, so it might be 1099s. There are more nuanced pieces of that. So we have technology that allows you to upload that as well. But the whole idea is, it's a black box right now.
Yes.
We want to give you access to all that information. So when you finally are ready to talk to a lender, you can say, I've done my research and I'm ready for, I'm qualified for this type of loan, this duration, this interest rate, these specific terms, and I just want you to verify that before we go any further.
Right, but that's giving the client power ultimately in a situation that doesn't feel very powerful.
Well, but here's the flip side of that. As a mortgage lender, having a client like that means they don't have to spend time educating about what the mortgage process is like.
Right.
They then talk to someone who knows, okay, so they've already narrowed down all the key information. Let me take a look at this. Well, it's exactly what you said, except for this one small piece. We're ready to go. You're ready to go. Let's get this thing closed and get you in your house. So it works for both sides.
Yes. So in this startup, where are you at on the journey right now?
So we've got some major news we'll be announcing in the near future, but we're part of the Village Capital Accelerator, Finance Forward, and so we were tied for the highest score. Unlike a lot of accelerators, it's a peer-voted accelerator for who's the winner. So your peers who see you working day to day say, you've got the most promise. So as part of that, we received significant funding as well as press and that kind of thing. And we're now partnering with Flagstar Mortgage, which is, I think, it's a top 15 mortgage lender in the U.S. based out of Detroit. And they're partnering with us to build the onboarding process. So when we sync up with a new lender, exactly how they're going to we'll sync up to their system and what the process is to get them up and running as quickly as possible.
Right. It's like a sophisticated dating app for connecting people.
Two-sided markets are around in a lot of different instances, and they have their challenges.
Sure.
But this one actually takes care of a problem, and so our response from our early consumer conversations, we've got several thousand people who have signed up for the platform. A few thousand of those folks are coming on a regular basis. Lenders, have been clamoring and say, hey, we definitely want to be a part of this. We're excited. So now, this year our focus is scaling up both of those and allowing the transactions to take place.
I love it. As I mentioned before, Frank, you're one of our venture coaches here at Provident 1898. What about the vision here resonates for you?
Durham has a fantastic history of entrepreneurship. I mentioned my dad. When he was the 8th or 9th African American to graduate from UNC's law school. The first Harvey Beach was my godfather. And so my dad actually walked around downtown Durham when he wanted to get engaged to my mom to find a jeweler who would extend him credit as a new law school graduate to buy an engagement ring. So, my dad would come here to Durham to socialize because Chapel Hill at that time wasn't a progressive place in the early 60s. And so, I've always heard his stories of Durham, spent time in Durham. In the early part of my career, I worked for WTVD. So, this has always been an area that was near and dear to me. And of course, the history of this building and the company, that was housed here, and that legacy is also extremely important to me. It's, Black entrepreneurship. And at that time, there wasn't an option.
Right.
Now it gets to be a choice.
Right. So speak directly to the Black entrepreneur in this new environment. What do you think they need to know to best equip them for what's, the road ahead?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Number one, I would say, decide if you're an entrepreneur. Okay? Because this is not a journey for the faint of heart.
That is for sure.
It's romanticized, and we see successes in the media, but the reality is, the CEO of our company, Brian Young, his work ethic is biblical. Okay, at 6:20 this morning, I was getting Slack messages from him. Okay, so there's that component. Make sure that this is truly the path that you want to take, because there are good jobs out there. They got health care, all those other pieces. You can live a really nice life.
Right.
Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is, there is a conversation around, and this is for tech entrepreneurs, a conversation around increasing funding. But the funding that you may need, because as entrepreneurs, when you don't have financial means to put into your business, you need earlier stage capital.
Right.
So look for the grants like NC IDEA that can help you get over those particular humps to really building the product that you want to. The third part of that is the no-code and low-code movement is very strong right now.
Okay.
There's some robust platforms that will allow you to build websites, mobile apps, the databases that support them at a very low cost without a ton of, you don't have to go out and hire major developers and that kind of stuff to find out very quickly, do I have something or not?
Right. It's at least testable at that scale.
Yeah. Now, for entrepreneurs in general with Main Street businesses, some of those same things apply. You can go online very quickly now. You can hop on Shopify. The Shogun tool with Shopify, you can build pages like that.
Yeah.
With Klaviyo, you can immediately nurture and build relationships and do all the things. And there's some folks out there. I realize the economy is it's in some senses it's bifurcated. You're either doing really well or you're not. But there's some folks like Deshawn down at Southern Elegance Candle Company in Rayford. She is killing it.
Yeah, there are opportunities right now.
Yeah. So understand that even in this challenging time, there's an opportunity for you to really capitalize on a new market and to build that relationship, because we all know what happened last year. Mm-hmm. So now the question is, can you take some of that momentum and translate it into success for your company?
I love that. So how do people get in touch with you? How do they find your work?
Yeah, so I'm here at Provident. I'm one of the venture coaches. So if you have those types of ventures, you can always come here and you can find me through that. And then
members, please take advantage of that. Frank is a brilliant mind, and with the heart to match. Somebody who actually cares. So please take advantage.
Yeah, and then I don't right now I'm focused on Home Lending Pal. So my consulting work really isn't the same emphasis that it has been in prior years, but I'm pretty easy to find online, and I've written for GrepBeat. I have written for one or two of its predecessors. I've been a part of American Underground as well as HQ. I've organized startup weekends. I'm not hard to find in the entrepreneurial.
Right. Yeah, you're around. You're here. How about for Home Lending Pal? How do they get on that platform, or what does that look like for early adopters right now?
Yeah. So homelendingpal.com. Hop on that, and you can learn about it, get signed up, and get rolling really quickly.
Brilliant. Frank, thank you so much. Frank Pollock, everyone.